Hi. Just know that I will never take a video like this with my hair up in this little thing. I just wash my hair so that way I can have nice hair with my headphones as I record today's video. And this is not the video, this is just some behind the scenes that I wanted to share with you guys and try something different. And guess what? I put my best foot forward and I basically am like, hey, let's just do behind the scenes stuff. Let's just do it. So yesterday I sent out a live stream as well. Thank you guys for joining that live stream, and thank you guys for watching the live stream too. I believe. Hold on, I have the. I gotta look up the statistics. Uh, the numbers about how many people viewed it, and maybe that might change my perception on like views. So 47 collectively for views, and like 28% of people on the readers list opened it up. I'm not trying to put anybody on blast or trying to single anybody out. These are all just like generalization numbers, like the averages of like what happens. But seriously, if you have yet to open up a Square Circle podcast email, please make sure to check your spam folders. Because sometimes if you have a Gmail account and you subscribe to Substack with a Gmail account, Gmail just thinks that it is spam. And that's probably because of like people always putting in pictures, videos, like multimedia stuff. So I would definitely say that, make sure to check your spam folders if you have yet to open it up. If you open up this one, fantastic. It'll be great. But yes, so yesterday you guys you know opened that one up. That was catching up with everybody. That was just telling you what I was doing. That was just like, hey, we made it to YouTube Partner, which I am so excited for. I hope that you guys are excited for YouTube Partner, because we're going to be doing a lot of member streaming stuff over there. With Substack, the Square Circle podcast Substack does have a paywall. I try not to like push it all the time, but I think that a lot more interactions can happen on YouTube versus Substack. But thank you guys for joining me and being here and watching this little mini live stream. So yeah, it is a behind the scenes. Um, Aside from yesterday, I was hoping for like some feedback of like, what you guys want to see more, what you don't want to see more, stuff like that. Like I said, with these live streams, I can invite somebody on to talk about wrestling. So that could be something planned in the future, in the next couple weeks, next month, who knows. But like just don't bombard me because I do have like a loner wolf kind of mentality when it comes to content creation, but that does not mean that I shy away from collaborating with people. I love collaborating with people. It's just that sometimes some people's personalities like get the best of them and they get like, oh, me, and I'm like, oh, calm down for a bit. It's just the environment I grew up in, but I have no problem trying to bring on a co-host. Before I show you what I'm working on today, which I think we should do these every so often. What am I looking at? I'm looking at OBS. I should do these like every so often just to be like, hey, what's up, guys? But yesterday there was a very good conversation on Twitter. I am very, very active on Twitter at Marie_Shadow. If you guys didn't know, and there was a Twitter space, and I really adore the good group of people that we have that will call out the bullshit of the wrestling media. I have done it in the past. I still do it now. That's why Dave Metzler is probably still upset at me and still waiting for me to apologize to him, but I'm not going to do that. If you guys don't know, back in my catalog, I have a whole entire podcast dedicated to why he wanted an apology and waited 7 weeks. And I'm like, sir, who's going to read your mind that you wanted an apology? But no, you're not, still not getting one. Because there is nothing wrong with calling out somebody or questioning them to be like, hey, you need to show your work. I have shown my work in the past with whatever I do when I cover New Japan Pro Wrestling, but like, you just gotta show your work in order for you to still like be credible and have people like, come uh come at you. Come at you is not what I was thinking, but like be with you and stuff like that. Other than that, during the Twitter live space, we had a very good, healthy conversation. There was a lot of people in that room that had a very good, high IQ. Jimmy Corderas also joined us in that room, and we were just talking about how the minions of the wrestling media, the ones who get easily attached to their favorite. Wait, hold on. No, hold on. I gotta do it this way. Journalists, when they get attached to them, they are all like, hey, they said this, so therefore it is true. If AEW on Max got 1 million viewers, then that means it's true. And it's like, no, it does not mean it's true. 1 million people are not watching AEW on Max. You want to know why? You want to know why it's not like believable? Because nobody really talks about Max like that. Nobody talks about like HBO on Max. If you have a subscription to Max, then you have a subscription to Max, right? The no one is really hungry to get a subscription to Max versus getting a subscription to Netflix. So like think of it this way. Netflix had a string of just like bad shows, bad press, bad commentary. Therefore, people were like, I'm going to unsubscribe to Netflix. The moment that the news broke about WWE going to Netflix, their numbers and subscriptions increased, which is a positive. So that means that Netflix did the right thing and got back the lapse subscribers that decided to leave Netflix and go somewhere else. They got them to resubscribe, and then they got new subscribers on top of that. Right? That makes sense. Max. Max is very stagnant with their subscribers. So therefore, it's like you guys did not get anybody new, because you could also look at the cable numbers, because for some reason AEW is still on cable. If AEW felt so strongly that they are the competition to WWE, why are they still on cable? Even though they have a contract, um, I think Warner Bros. Discovery could have did something to where like they could have buy out the contract, so that way Max could get them fully on their network, if that makes sense. Like that happens in business too, where other businesses buy out the stuff and be like, hey, I think it's time to like switch and fully dedicate them to a streaming service. But because AEW still shows up on cable television, the numbers that are reflected on the cable doesn't really kind of like reflect on the streaming services, because you would think that sometimes they'll go over to the streaming services. But I just don't think like 1 million people all of a sudden found AEW Dynamite on Max when no one talks about Max. Everyone talks about Netflix more. So like it's really hard to believe that there was 1 million on there. So we're talking about that in the Twitter space. And then we're also talking about the wonderful work that Switchblade, who is a Twitter handle account on Twitter, did fantastic work. And everyone is calling him out, calling him names, and basically saying that like, oh, this line doesn't make sense. These are all fake numbers. How'd you get this? And then these same minions will go and remind him that AEW is an LLC. They are a private company and that nobody knows their numbers. Newsflash. I was saying that because Uncle Dave over here, it's like, oh, they're gonna be the second most profitable company ever. They make this amount of money, they got this, they got that. We text each other because we're besties. I was the one that kept telling people through and through that because AEW is an LLC, Dave Metzler don't know numbers. All the other journalists don't know numbers. Therefore, I was saying it and I was calling it way before anybody else wanted to accept it. But because a regular citizen that decided to do a whole entire like thread and mock up of public numbers and educated guesses to where we can sit around a nice little table and discuss it like adults, because we're like always trying to find some type of conversation about ratings. And I know a lot of people don't like ratings, but if you want to know the business side of things, it's bound to happen. We do the same thing with like other sports and other like TV shows. However, just because Switchblade is a citizen and is a regular person like you and I, and he doesn't have any stake in the pro wrestling game or to be a wrestling journalist. Um, so basically, yeah, sorry, somebody text message me. So it's kind of a little like unfair that the minions will now start to repeat things that I have been saying, other people have been saying, but then they push back against us. And it's like, man, um, the one person that decided to show their work and be like, all right, if Dave wants to talk about this and have all these numbers, and if other people in the space, meaning the wrestling journalists, have all these numbers, let's put it to the test. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a mock up of everything, and let's talk about it. But no, it's kind of sad that when you ask the experts to show their work, they don't do it. They're too lazy to do it. But when you decide to do it on your own as a regular person that just wanted to do it and have the information readily available, whether it is true or not, because again, numbers fluctuate, and mathematicians and scientists always talk about different types of theories. And you're like, why did you mention them? It's because they always go in one of their rooms and start doing equations and being like, hey, we got to figure out what X is equal to and how do we get there. That's exactly what Switchblade did. The only problem is that Switchblade is a citizen, and people don't like it when regular ordinary people decide to show up the journalists who are being lazy, the wrestling journalists who are being lazy. So we had a wonderful discussion. I tried to let everybody speak. I was co-host. I filtered through. I tried to make sure that other people got their stuff in. There was some first-time speakers that I've never like really spoken with, and they were fantastic. I'll probably just shout his name out, but Julian had me thinking about a lot of good things about the indies and like his thought pattern about professional wrestling, and I'm like, damn, dude. Now I have to like think about some of this stuff because some of the stuff he was saying is actually true. Which I guess you guys can like comment on it after this video is done. But um, one thing that like really stuck out to me was the fact of he mentioned how nobody, when I say nobody, I mean like fans are not really searching out any kind of new wrestling promotion. I should add promotion there because if I just say not any new wrestling, that's kind of like vague. But I and that took me back because of like me working in the business and going to different types of wrestling promotions on the indies and stuff like that to help out from like low tier, medium tier, and high tier. I'll put MLW in high tier. But like I can see that like not everybody can travel out to these independents and fill up the places, even though they take like, I don't even want to say 1,000, but less than 1,000. 500 is good if they're on like the lower tier. If it's MLW has been like selling out all of their venues. Tomorrow is MLW Battle Riot over in LA, and they're starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, and it's like 7 Pacific time. But they decided to upgrade their venue because it was such huge demand for MLW, which is amazing. So yeah, stuff like that Julian had mentioned that like kind of was like, bro, I that to me it felt spot on. I don't know about my readers and those that joined to watch this live stream. I don't know if it's spot on for you guys, but sometimes I feel like fans are not going to seek out like a New Japan Pro Wrestling. Some of them will. Some people in the NGPW Reddit, which I still hang around and lurk around, some of them will have like a post that says first time MLW. They'll have posts that say like first time New Japan watcher, like where do I start, or first time fan of New Japan, or blah blah blah. Those are like, okay, cool. All right, fine, one or two. But in the circles on Twitter, um I don't see people wanting to look out for New Japan Pro Wrestling or looking out for like MOW and talking about that, or NWA, or any of the women's promotions. Bell to Bell is a new women's promotion, fairly new I should say. There's also like Wow Superheroes is still there. You know, I just don't know if fans are actively looking for new promotions as a whole. But you guys might tell me different. We had like that was the one like comment that stuck with me. Um, because I was just like, damn, now I really had to like think about this. Other than that, like I said, it was a fantastic Twitter space. The only reason why it happened is because sometimes people on Twitter like to puff up their chest and like to say a lot of shit. And then, when they get corrected, it's more about like, they want to block you because it's like you're correcting them on something. And it's not correcting them to be like, oh, I'm smarter than you, or I'm bigger than you, or I'm tougher than you, or just some, stupid ass shit that they make up in their head. It's more about like, listen, we're trying to have a dialogue. This is what it is. This is the actual true information. And, that's what it is. But they rather block you. So during yesterday, I was going to say during the live stream again. During yesterday, uh, AEW has their media call right before AEW Dynasty. And of course, somebody asked Tony Khan about, the max numbers. And he says it. Hold on. Why did that happen? That was so weird. I'm so sorry. My OBS just decided to like minimize, and then I closed it because I didn't do that, and I'm like, do I have a ghost somewhere? I don't mean to go off on a tangent to be like, what the fuck. I'll show you what I'm working on after I finish this story, and then like I guess I'll wrap it up. So um Tony Khan had mentioned that he does not know the numbers, and Warner Bros. Discovery does not provide the numbers. And when I say numbers, I mean viewership. And that they keep it close to their chest or vest. And sometimes numbers come out when a show is doing very, very good, but AEW is borderline like what Bret Hart said, that these guys are playing wrestler rather than being a wrestler, and you can see it. You can see how bad the acting has become, and even trying to do moves that can definitely injure people and end their career. And it's like they don't give a shit about each other. It doesn't look like, I'm gonna clarify. It does not look like they give a shit about each other, because rule 101 in wrestling, like, you have their life in your hands. Like, you got to trust the person that you're wrestling. Like, if you end up breaking something, yeah, that could be like, oh well, they knew the risk, anybody could get hurt. But if you're doing a move that you're not that you don't normally do, then yeah, it's going to be your fault, because just stick with the moves that you know how to do, and tell a story like that. Sometimes less is more. That's why most WWE guys, under Vince, when they had like their 5 moves and that's all we knew that they had, aside from like John Cena and whatnot, and people were very limited in their move set, is because they were wrestling so many days out of the year, that your body is basically like, oh my god, it's under constant stress. Whether that is the traveling, the way you're eating, the way you're dieting, you might miss a day with like your strict diet, and your body can like be like overstressed. Working out, missing workouts, having to go like 0 to 100 in a ring, and you're like using your whole entire body. Your body gets stressed. So, to have a limited move set wasn't really a bad idea, but when we constantly saw it, it was like, okay, we could see the stupid shit. Like, stop doing the same moves over and over and over again with the same formula and whatnot. But at the same time, it was to protect the wrestlers, and you can't really get mad at that. AEW doesn't really care. AEW does whatever they want, and when they get hurt, it's like, oh, we're gonna move on to the next. Oh, he got hurt. Okay, who can I sign next? Who wants more money? Huh? Who wants more money? I'll give you my dad's money. That's exactly what AEW does. Okay, aside from all of that, let me bring back up my OBS, right? Because that was a little scary of like it just minimizing on its own. It could have just been the mouse. Like the mouse could have like this thing right here could have like hit something to bring it down, or my OBS just didn't like my little rant. So I am going to try. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I am going to be reacting to Stephanie's Places. Now, like I said in the previous live stream, even though Substack right now is moving towards, and look, you can see me in the camera. Even though right now, Substack is moving towards a real REEL, so reels, as in like IG reels and TikTok and stuff like that. They're moving more towards that kind of base, right? For their viewership, for people to sign up and whatnot. So I don't know how well views are, even though yesterday you guys brought up the live stream to 47 views after the fact. So what I'm gonna do is that Stephanie's Places, once this video is done and complete, I will give you guys a summary. The full video will be on YouTube, youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast, and also Fourth Wall, which is basically Patreon, but I like Fourth Wall better, as membership options. So over on YouTube, you can get a membership for $1.99 and or $9.99 to support the channel, to support me. But unfortunately, I will not be uploading the video up on marieshadows.substack.com as a video to view, because this is going to go behind a paywall, and I know that I have paywall options on Substack. It's just that video numbers, I just look for video numbers for it to be increased. But you guys can always tell me something different. You guys can always leave me a comment. It just has to be like the more people that would want it specifically on the newsletter will have to speak up, and that's me being honest. But right now I'm currently gonna record Stephanie's Places season 1 episode 1, which deals with CM Punk. I hope you guys like the thumbnail. So that's gonna be that. But like I said, you guys are gonna get a summary version that may, entice you guys. But Substack right now, like video, like analytic wise, it's all about numbers. It really is. Um, it really is all about numbers, unfortunately, just because of like you gotta keep viewership up, not viewership up and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I think my hair is already dry. I can feel it. But yeah, like I said, I would never start a live stream with my hair tied up like this. But I really do appreciate everyone that checks out the live stream. I appreciate everyone that checks out the live stream after the fact when I put it up as a private kind of dealing with everybody here, all my readers. And thank you for the new signups. Thank you. If you guys don't know, I'm Marie Shadows. I am the host and the creator of the Square Circle Podcast, also with Inside the Locker Room and Tape Study Series, which is me breaking down professional wrestling matches and or promos on you. Well, I can't really do it on YouTube anymore, but you know what I mean. I break down professional wrestling matches for Tape Study. Inside the Locker Room is my own thing. Everything that I do is 100% original and it's independent. But I do love you guys. If you want, share it out. Tell people about the Square Circle Podcast. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Let me know how this one went. Just let me know your comments. I read all comments. I comment on comments. Okay. Uh, so have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely Friday. And I will have videos for you. If you guys want to know what's coming up next, after Stephanie's Places, I will have a live stream review of MLW Battle Riot over at youtube.com/Square Circle Podcast with the one and only Dose Evil. Now, April 21st is going to be a huge collaboration between myself, Dose Evil, and 2 MLW wrestlers. So stay tuned for that. Also, tomorrow is New Japan Pro Wrestling. I will probably only be reviewing Goto versus David Finlay for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship title, and that's probably about it. And yeah, so look out for all of that. Stay tuned for any other live streams like this, because I think this is cool. This is fun. It gets me out of my comfort zone, and that's when I need to work on more to get out of that. So yeah, let me do this video for Stephanie's Places, and I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Bye.